He stepped off the plane into the soft Roman evening, but this was no ordinary royal visit. King Charles and Queen Camilla's arrival in Italy marked something Britain hadn't seen in nearly 500 years, a monarch preparing to pray side by side with the Pope. Cameras flashed, the crowd murmured, and yet beneath the calm ceremony, a quiet storm brewed back home. For the king, this was meant to be a moment of faith and unity. Instead, it's happening under the long shadow of a scandal the palace can't seem to escape. The visit was billed as historic, a symbolic reunion between the Church of England and the Catholic Church after centuries of separation. A bulwark against conflict, division, and tyranny, a royal spokesman said, calling for Christians to stand together in a fractured world. It's the kind of message Charles has spent decades championing: bridge building, compassion, and coexistence. But as his plane touched down at Ciampino Airport, the headlines weren't about faith. They were about family. Just days before the trip, the palace stripped Prince Andrew of his titles and removed the name Duke of York from official use. The decision, they said, was to stop Andrew's controversies from overshadowing the monarchy's work. But instead of silencing the noise, it reignited it. The release of Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir poured fresh fuel on the fire, reviving painful allegations linked to Jeffrey Epstein, claims Andrew has always denied. And while Charles readied himself for a meeting with the Pope, reporters back in London dissected every line of Giuffre's book. The timing couldn't have been worse. Inside the palace, there was quiet panic. A trip meant to project unity and moral strength was now competing with one of the darkest stories in royal history. But Charles pressed on. For him, this moment wasn't just diplomacy, it was personal. As the supreme governor of the Church of England, his role isn't only political, it's spiritual. Thursday morning, he'll walk through the Vatican gates, greet Pope Leo XIV, and take part in a service beneath the ceiling Michelangelo painted half a millennium ago. Under that masterpiece, Anglican and Catholic choirs will sing together, a sound unheard since the 16th century. And there, for the first time since the Reformation, a British monarch and a pope will pray side by side. It's a powerful symbol, but it also breaks one of the monarchy's most sacred conventions. Prayer is deeply private. Monarchs are rarely, if ever, filmed in such moments. This time, that rule will be set aside. Cameras will capture the king's bowed head, his whispered words, an image meant to travel the world and say what politics cannot. Yet amid the ceremony, one voice offered a glimpse of the emotion beneath the crown. Cardinal Vincent Nichols, Archbishop of Westminster, reflected that both men, the king and the pope, would be carrying their own family difficulties in their hearts as they prayed. They will ask for grace and strength, he said softly, to live through all the difficulties that we all have in life. His words seemed to pierce through the protocol. Perhaps Charles's journey to Rome wasn't only about reconciling churches, but also about finding peace within his own family. Still, the stakes stretch far beyond palace walls. The king's spokesman described this visit as a call for unity in times of such global challenge. It's a chance to show faith as a force for connection, not conflict. And for Charles, long an advocate for interfaith harmony and protecting God's creation, this meeting could become one of the defining moments of his reign. A simple prayer, shared between two leaders whose institutions were once bitter rivals, now stands as a message to a divided world. But whether history will remember this as a turning point or a distraction depends on what comes next. Back home, Andrew's headlines continue to echo. Online, fans are split, some praising the king's grace under pressure, others calling for deeper accountability. And as Charles bows his head beneath Michelangelo's ceiling, one question lingers: can a prayer in Rome heal the wounds at home? Under that fresco of heaven and history, King Charles may finally find a moment of peace. But for the royal family, true forgiveness and unity may still be far beyond the Vatican's walls. What do you think? Can this visit restore the monarchy's image, or will the shadows of scandal follow the crown wherever it goes?